The United Nations three-person Commission of Inquiry recently released a report accusing Israel of genocide in Gaza, using multiple pieces of so-called evidence to argue their case. But here's the truth. This report is neither impartial nor credible. Behind this report stand authors with a long record of vilifying Israel. Will the news media uncritically parrot this report as fact, or will it finally expose the Commission's entrenched bias? First, let's look at the Commission itself. Navi Pillay, appointed to lead the Commission of Inquiry, is widely recognized for her record of bias against Israel during her tenure as UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. In that role, she authorized 4 separate fact-finding missions against Israel, more than against any other country. She allowed the appointment of Richard Falk, a figure accused of anti-Semitism, as Special Rapporteur on the Palestinian territories, and convened the 2009 Durban II conference, boycotted by Canada, where Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was given a prominent stage to deliver hateful anti-Jewish rhetoric. She has repeatedly leveled baseless accusations against Israel, wrongly labeled it an apartheid state, and actively promoted discriminatory boycotts. Her fellow commissioners, Milun Kathari and Chris Sidoti, are no different. Both have absurdly accused Israel of apartheid. In a notorious interview, Kathari ranted about the so-called Jewish lobby and questioned Israel's very right to be a UN member. Remarks so offensive that 20 governments and even the UN Secretary General condemned them as anti-Semitic. Sidoti, meanwhile, is linked to an organization that advocates for boycotts against Israel. In July 2022, he dismissed Jewish concerns by sneering that accusations of anti-Semitism were being thrown around like rice at a wedding. This is the makeup of the so-called Commission of Inquiry. Their bias is not hidden. It is undeniable and thoroughly documented. With that said, by labeling Israel's defensive war inside Gaza as genocide, the Commission of Inquiry is accusing the Jewish state of one of the most serious charges imaginable, carrying immense moral and legal weight. According to the 1948 Genocide Convention, genocide requires proof of a deliberate and coordinated policy to destroy a protected group. On this central test, the claim against Israel collapses before any further details of the UN Commission of Inquiry's report are even considered. As chair of war studies at the Madison Policy Forum and executive director of the Urban Warfare Institute, John Spencer has said Israel has taken extraordinary steps to limit civilian harm. It warns before attacks using text messages, phone calls, leaflets, and broadcasts. It opens safe corridors and pauses operations so civilians can leave combat areas. Israel has delivered more humanitarian aid to Gaza than any military in history has provided to an enemy population during wartime, carrying millions of tons of aid, has supported hospitals, repaired water pipelines, increased access to clean water, and enabled over 36,000 patients to leave Gaza for treatment abroad. The IDF has also coordinated millions of vaccine doses, supplied fuel for hospitals and infrastructure, and facilitated the flow of food and medicine through the UN, aid groups, and private partners. Does this sound like a genocide to you? Of course not. But let's dig deeper into this so-called report. From the outset, the Commission of Inquiry report is compromised by methodological flaws and selective presentation of facts. As explained by UN Watch's legal rebuttal, quotes from Israeli officials are distorted, removing important context and clarifications. Hamas terrorists, along with its tunnel network and use of innocent Palestinians as human shields, is removed from the equation. Statistics provided by the Gaza Ministry of Health, aka Hamas, are treated as credible without verification, while Israeli data and independent assessments are dismissed. Civilian casualties are framed not as the byproduct of urban warfare, but intentional Israeli policy. The massacre of October 7, 2023, in which Hamas maimed, raped, tortured, and murdered 1,200 plus innocent Israelis and kidnapped 250 more into Gaza, is minimized, while the ongoing plight of Israeli hostages is ignored. Hamas's terrorist, rocket fire, tunnel warfare, and militarization of hospitals and schools vanished from the report, leaving readers with a false picture of an unprovoked Israeli assault on innocent Palestinians. By removing Hamas from the picture, the Commission has manufactured a one-sided account that reads like it's straight from the propaganda department of Hamas HQ. In truth, The report invents the genocide claim by twisting language, cherry-picking quotes, and misrepresenting the realities of war. While destruction in Gaza is tragic, it is the inevitable outcome and consequence of Hamas purposely embedding itself within neighborhoods, schools, and hospitals. Redefining these consequences as genocide both distorts international law and trivializes the term itself. What emerges is not a serious legal finding, but a politically motivated document designed to invert responsibility and portray Israel as guilty of crimes it did not commit. Canada's news media must stop repeating the report uncritically and instead reveal the Commission of Inquiry for what it is: a body marked by long-standing anti-Israel bias intent on deliberately vilifying the Jewish state by creating a false narrative of the highest crime.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us at this press conference here in Geneva with the Independent International Commission of Inquiry